Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get started. Um, First of all, thank you for coming tonight. This is one of my favorite nights of the year is doing the banquets that we do because it's a great sort of culmination of the sports season, and it's a good time to celebrate not only our team accomplishments but also individual accomplishments as well. And that's no different with this one. We had quite a bit of accomplishments this spring, and it's really neat to be able to come together tonight and recognize everybody in their achievements throughout the season. I'm going to introduce our coaches really quick. Our four high school coaches to my far left, first of all, is Dr. John Boyd, girls head coach. Dr. Boyd has done a fantastic job, and he's actually moving up in the ranks. He'll be our high school assistant principal next year. And despite my begging and pleading, nobody else thought that it was a good idea for him to go ahead and continue coaching while being the assistant principal. But we're going to miss John. He's done a fantastic job, but he's going to contribute as our assistant principal in the future and be a tremendous asset to our administrative team moving forward. And then to his left, we have our new head girls coach. She was our assistant girls coach this year, and that is Tyne Hook. Both former students and former athletes of mine. I'm old. Neither one of these guys are former athletes of mine, though, especially the guy there on the end. Our boys coaches, to my right here, we have our assistant boys coach, and that is Chris Thompson. He's elected to remain in that position next year. And we have our current head boys coach, Chris Warner. Chris is also not going to be with us next year anymore. He's retiring from education. And yes, I did ask him if he would be interested in coming back and still coaching, and it didn't take him long to say no. Not because he doesn't love it, not because he doesn't love the kids. And everybody in this room that knows Coach Warner knows that he loves the kids and loves coaching. But he's got another job ahead of him where he'll make way more money than he would coaching or teaching. So we congratulate Chris on his retirement, and I'll talk a little bit more about him later on. But moving forward, we're going to start with the girls track program, and Coach Boyd has decided to do all the talking for girls track. And then when he's finished, I'll come back up for a quick second and introduce Coach Warner. Before Coach Boyd comes up real quick, though, you're fine to stand there, Coach. Just wanted to really quick ask for a nice round of applause for Cheryl Wolk and her kitchen staff for the fantastic meal this evening. And also for our booster officers who have spent countless hours either in concession stands or in meetings or preparing for banquets, at banquets and so forth, all on volunteer time. And those officers are Kelly Solkowski, Carrie Staffen, Tracy Helms, make sure I don't forget anybody here, Sandy Gegg, and Carla Bullock. I think that's all five of them. Those are our booster officers. And thank you to all of you parents out there who have worked a concession stand one time or multiple times this year. We couldn't do that without you guys, so thank you very much. Coach Boyd.
All right, good evening. I would like to begin by thanking some very important individuals that impact our program in many different ways. First of all, I would like to thank the athletes. They've bought into the program. They've displayed very strong work ethic throughout the season. They're fantastic people to work with and truly make practice enjoyable each and every day. As a coaching staff, we were blessed to watch young people display an impeccable work ethic to vastly improve from the first day of track practice. I would also like to extend a special thank you to all of our parents. We could not function without all of your support and efforts throughout the season. I know that you have to sacrifice time, energy, and sleep to support your track athletes. I greatly appreciate all of you providing riding arrangements for your kids and the support that you provide our program at our meets. I would like to thank Mr. Nix and our entire administration for all of the support that you provide our program. It's awesome to see you guys making an effort to attend our meets and support our athletes. Mr. Nix, even when you make a trip to Jefferson City to find yourself sitting in a rain delay at the state track meet. Next, I would like to thank our awesome coaching staff. The work ethic and great character you bring to the table greatly influences the young athletes that we work with on a day-to-day basis. Coach Warner, our boys' head coach, does an awesome job with our sprinters, hurdlers, and high jumpers. He truly makes my job as a coach very easy. I believe that we work very well together, and without his help, efforts, and coaching expertise throughout the season, our track team definitely would not be as successful as it was. Our school is definitely going to miss him next year, but we all wish you well in your retirement. Coach Thompson, our throws coach, does an awesome job of motivating kids and has a dynamic personality and even a funny sense of humor at times that helps keep the mood light at practice. He's continuously working to build and improve upon his throwing program. Coach Hook, my assistant coach and our jumps coach, will be taking over as the girls' track team coach next year. There's no doubt in my mind that she will continue to lead the program in a very positive direction. She truly makes my job very easy and enjoyable on a day-to-day basis. She's extremely knowledgeable about track and field and does a great job of building relationships with young people. She has become a very influential individual within our athletes' young lives. Coach Keeker, Coach Harlow, and Coach Pope, our middle school coaches, do a great job of preparing our youngsters for track and field in the high school. They help to teach them the basics and truly integrate them into the program. I'm extremely grateful to all of the coaches that I have had an opportunity to work with. I know that they always have the best interests of kids at heart, and it's extremely rewarding to work with such a great group of individuals. I would like to thank Jason Viox and the entire Herald staff for all the sports coverage that we get throughout the entire season, Mid-America Rehab and Potential Therapy for helping our injured athletes throughout the season, Dr. Etherton for preparing the meals for our home track meets, and all the individuals that help us out in some capacity to be able to host what I consider to be one of the best meets in the entire area. My wife, Sierra, for supporting me with all the late nights, discussions about track, and even helping us out at all of our home meets. I'm sure that I'm leaving out some individuals, but I'm very grateful to everyone that has helped out and helped our program throughout the season. Now for a little recap of the girls' season. And before we move into the athletes, I think it's fitting that we just kind of talk about kind of where the season went and how the season unfolded for us. Our team was comprised mostly of underclassmen this year. We only had 4 seniors on our entire squad, so hopefully everyone else will be back for next year's team. We were very competitive at nearly every meet that we competed at this year, except for Simpsons at Farmington. That just wasn't our night. I must say that the team highlight for us this year came at the MAAA conference meet. We were able to walk away with a second place finish, but this year the meet was neck and neck with Farmington. The point totals were back and forth the entire time. In the end, they ended up besting us by about 15 points. I would say that outside of the conference meet, the other highlight was when we won the Potosi Invitational and bested a very good Jefferson R7 team. I want to thank the girls for their hard work and dedication to the team throughout the entire season. I would now like to recognize each of our individual athletes, and as I do that and I call your name, come see Coach Hook, and she has your certificate, and then come and line up across the front for us. I will start with the freshman. Freshman Alyssa Fanistock. All right, freshman Alina Bader. AKA Junk. Alina was one of our cross-country runners that was out for track this year. Alina started the season primarily focused on running the 1600, but as we started to get into the season, and especially into our JV season, I needed somebody to step up and run the 3200 for us. When I initially presented the idea to Alina, she looked at me and was absolutely terrified at the thought of running 8 laps. However, as the season began to unfold, she ran that first 3200 and came back to me, and anytime I had an opening from that point forward, her hand was the first one to go up. She was excited to get in there and mix it up in the 3200. And she wanted to be a part of that, and I really appreciate that. And I'm super proud of Alina and excited to see what her future running career has in store for her. Freshman Jaden Weiner. Jaden primarily was a pole vaulter for our team. However, there were a few occasions in which I needed another individual to step up and help us out as a member of a sprint relay. Jaden never complained, at least to me directly, about having to run in some of those relays. Some of the other girls might have heard some of that complaining, but I never did. If I had to guess, she was probably a little nervous, but she stepped up and did a great job for us. If Jaden wants to take her pole vaulting to the next level, she needs to get serious in the offseason and improve upon her strength. Freshman Carissa Holst. Carissa is the other half of our dynamic duo that gets out there and pole vaults every day for the girls' staff. Much like Jaden, I periodically would use Carissa in some sprint relays, and I think she really wasn't too excited with me one time when I put her in one of those relays, if I remember correctly. That smile seems to indicate that's the case. Carissa definitely continues to progress in the vault, and by the end of the season, she was at a point where she's starting to see quite a bit of success. She definitely needs to continue to do some work in the offseason like Jaden and continue to improve upon her strength and maybe even get to a camp if she wants to continue to see improvement. Freshman Ellie Nagger. Ellie saw most of her time this year long jumping and working as a sprinter for us. Ellie, ultimately, for me, though, was just a great teammate. She always wanted to be around the program. She even caught the bus early Saturday morning to make a trip with us to Rockwood Summit for the sectional track meet. Ellie is a super kind and, much like a lot of the other girls on the team, needs to continue to work on her strength, get in the weight room, and improve for next track season. Freshman Chloe Hubble. Freshman Libby Geralds. Freshman Macy Reynolds. Freshman Hannah Widener. All right, there we go. Asa, you have the cheering going on tonight. Hannah spent most of her season as a long jump specialist for us, and occasionally would see some times in the sprints or even some of the sprint relays. Hannah is going to be a key member of our conference team. However, she suffered an injury to her calf that would hamper her from being able to be completely healthy going into the MAAA meet. It was almost painful at times for those of you guys that got to see her walk around. It was painful to watch her hobble around the halls, but she's tough, and she didn't complain, and she actually got out on the runway and actually completed one long jump that I don't think was real pretty, but she didn't complain one time. The good news is Hannah is just a freshman, and she's got a lot of time to get healthy, and she's got a lot of time to improve. I look for big things for her in the future, and next year during her sophomore campaign, I think that she's going to have a lot of success. Freshman Allison Braun. Freshman Marissa Fleeg. The first day of practice rolled around this year, and Marissa decided that she was going to come work with the distance crew. She was a good runner in our middle school program, so I was excited that I was going to get an opportunity to directly work with her. Then we found out that she wanted to throw the javelin. And what was even more impressive is that she was really stinking good at it. Any of you that have not had an opportunity at this point to watch her throw the javelin, I highly encourage you to get out there and do that next year. She has a lot of potential to be very good at the event. I know that she's going to spend some time this summer going to a camp, and there is no doubt that she will continue to work on her craft. The crazy part of this, though, is that she wasn't just good at the javelin. She was a great middle distance runner for us. Her best event was probably the 800, and she was a key member of both our 4x4 and 4x8 teams that qualified for the sectional meet. Marissa, keep working, and the future is very bright for you. Freshman Megan Aubuchon. Megan is a phenomenal athlete that had an opportunity to showcase her talents this year on the track. She actually qualified for the state meet in 3 events, and regardless of the fact that she's a freshman, anybody that makes it to the state meet in 3 events, that's a big deal. Now, on top of that, Megan is just a freshman. She's very well versed. We have an opportunity to see that she gets to work not only on the track and she hurdles, she also is good at the high jump. She's also good at the triple jump. So really, there's a lot of different places that we could put Megan. We had to decide what events we were going to put her in at districts. Ultimately, she had 5 events we could have put her in, and she legitimately had a chance to get through in all 5 events. Megan was able to qualify for the state meet in both hurdle events, the 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles, and the high jump. They also qualified for the 4x4 team to the sectional meet. Did not get through the sectional meet, but she was qualified in 4 events out of the district meet. That's pretty impressive. I think that after this past weekend, she now has a little taste for what the state meet is like. And when she makes the trip back there again next year, she's going to be poised to climb the podium and receive some all-state hardware. Sophomore Shelby Gibson. Sophomore Reagan Meyer. Reagan is a track runner that's coming back to us again for her sophomore year. Last year, she actually started the season late for us, and this year she started the very first day of practice. And I think she would probably agree with me. Starting on day 1 is a lot easier than starting like on day 20, right, Reagan? Yeah. Reagan worked extremely hard again this track season and is definitely the type of kid that's going to do whatever we ask, and she's going to do it to the best of her ability. That personality and demeanor is infectious with all those individuals that are around Reagan. I'm very happy that Reagan joined us again this year, and I look forward to what future track seasons have in store for her. Sophomores Emma Springcamp or Hannah Duro, either one of those two here. All right. Sophomore Josie Geisner. Josie was truly a pleasure to work with this spring. As you can see, she's probably smiling right now, and if she's not, she will be here in just a second. She always showed up to practice. She had that smile on her face, and anytime we asked her to do a workout, she's going to work as hard as she can, and she's going to do it to the best of her ability. She's always extremely eager to get out there and compete. She didn't care if it was a varsity meet, a JV meet, she just wanted to compete. I really appreciate that eagerness and that genuine excitement. The best example that I have to showcase this eagerness came with her just getting out there and coming up to me, and at the beginning of the season she said, "Coach, I just want to run the 4x1 and the 4x2. And then later in the season I had a hole in the 4x4, and she's like, yeah, I'll run it. And then she came to me at the end of the season, she goes, you know, the 400's probably my event. So she just saw where she was going to get some opportunities and some openings to be able to compete, and I really appreciate that out of Josie and look forward to seeing what the future has in store for her. Sophomore Jillian Humboldt. Jillian spent all of her cross-country season in the fall injured. So this track season was exciting times for her, for me, and for everybody else because she actually had an opportunity to get back to running. Being able to see that smile on her face and just the genuine excitement to get to run once again, I think was a relief for her, and it was definitely a relief for me as well. I believe that she made some huge strides to get back to where ultimately she was at during last track season. We had to be very flexible with each day. We didn't know how things were going to go. We didn't know how her hips were going to feel, and from day to day, one day might be great, the next day was kind of a struggle. Jillian was part of the girls 4x8 team that qualified out of the district meet, and she just pretty much grinded through the entire year, and I really appreciate that. She stepped up for us at the conference meet and ran the 4x8, ran the 1600. Her hips were bothering her after the 1600, and she hopped in, and she even still tried to attempt to run the 3200 for us because she knew that the team needed her. That's an ultimate teammate right there, and I really appreciate her stepping up for everybody on the team. I think that I would categorize the season as a success for Jillian, mostly because she was back on the track and competing again. Sophomore Ella Reed. Ella decided to change things up a bit this track season, and she decided to work with our sprinters. That way she could focus on the high jump. She knew that the sprinters would spend more time working on plyos and other strength-building exercises that would ultimately help her become a better jumper. She spent her season competing on some sprint relays and doing quite a bit of high jump. She even spent a little bit of time trying out the long jump this year. However, Ella's leg bothered her the last few weeks of the season, and I think that it hampered her from being able to jump the way that she ultimately would have liked to be able to jump at the end of the season. I'm confident that with your work ethic and determination, you will have much success in the future. Sophomore Julia McClin. Julia is the model of hard work and trust in her coaches. She spent the beginning of her season thinking that she would be a 300 hurdler and a key member of our 4x2 relay. Then I had a crazy idea of trying her in the 4x8, and it worked out masterfully. Her work ethic allowed her to excel in this event. Julia then picked up the long jump. when we had an opening in that event and just missed qualifying for the sectional meet as she finished in 5th place at districts. However, the biggest change and most successful change for Julia came when Macy went down with a knee injury. We had a hole in our lineup in the 100-meter hurdles, and I needed her to run at conference. So we threw her in a week before conference at Potosi, and it didn't go real good. And Julia came, and she was a little concerned. She was a little worried about it. We threw her in at the next JV meet, and she had a little more success, and then we did it at conference, and she had a breakthrough race at conference. She initially looked at me like I was crazy. She's going to have to run the 4x8 and then get limited rest and come back and run the 100 hurdles. The pace of an 800, a whole lot different than the pace of the 100-meter hurdles. And it was just a chance that we took. However, it paid big dividends for Julia to compete in the event. She even actually made it out of districts, she made it out of sectionals, and she made it to the state meet. Even more impressive, it worked out so well for her that she nearly was all state in the event. Matter of fact, she missed out by 2 1/1000ths of a second of qualifying for finals. Both girls ran a 15.80, so they then have to extend it out to figure out who actually bested the other one. She ended up in 9th place by 2 1/1000ths of a second. That's crazy close. No doubt in my mind that she's going to be an all-stater. No doubt in my mind that that's going to happen next year. So Julia, keep working hard, keep being the kid that you are, and we're really proud of you. Junior Abby Braun. Junior Jaden Bowman. Oh, the juniors are letting me down. This one's here, though. Junior Maddie Huffstetter. Thank you, Maddie. Saving the day. Maddie was definitely a specialist for us in all of our relays, just like she is every year. She spent most of her time on the sprint relays. However, when we got to the sectional meet, I asked her if she would run the 4x8. She was open to the idea and did a great job of filling in for us. She literally ran on every single relay at least one time this year. That would be the 4x1, the 4x2, the 4x4, and the 4x8. That's pretty unheard of for a kid to have the span of running the 100 meters all the way up to the 800 meters. It's just a testament to her hard work, her demeanor, and what she brings to the table on a day-to-day basis. She qualified for finals in the 100 at districts and comes back and runs the 4x8 at sectionals. She's just a jack of all trades, really. She truly is a joy to have on our team, and I really appreciate the positive attitude, the smile, and just what she does for the team on a day-to-day basis. Junior Isabella Zerwig. Junior Sarah Moore. I'm extremely lucky to be able to work with Sarah in 2 sports in 2 seasons, and this is our 6th season together. That's not even including middle school. 6th high school season. That's crazy. It's crazy somebody has to put up with me that much. This season was all about bouncing back from frustration during cross-country season for Sarah. Her track season started slow. She was recovering from a stress fracture that she suffered in the fall. Matter of fact, if I'm being honest, I was a little unsure if she was going to be able to make another run at competing in Jefferson City at the state meet. I just was unsure. She sure saved the best for the end of her track season, though. She just squeaked through the 3200 at the district meet. She finished in 4th place. Our 4x8 got through, so she was actually through in 2 events, but she had just barely squeaked through in the 3200. Then we get to the sectional meet, and she had a monster 3200. She actually improved her time by 40 seconds from the district meet to the sectional meet in order to be able to qualify for the state meet once again. That means that Sarah now has qualified in the 6 opportunities that she's had to compete at the state meet. She's qualified for 6 of those opportunities. She's ran in 5 of the 6 because she was hurt during the fall, but she's completed that and pulled the trick off of being able to make it to all 6, and she still has 2 more shots at it next year. Sarah's now qualified 6. This is highly impressive for a young lady. I know that the 3200 didn't turn out the way that she would have hoped to at the state meet. It was super hot. It was super brutal. They were giving them water cups. They were spraying them down with water. It looked absolutely miserable, and she gritted through it. She made it through. She finished in 14th. Not probably the kind of race that she was hoping for, but hopefully her senior season is going to provide the final chapter in her career that she really is looking for. Senior Madison Rainey. Madison was a distance runner for our team this year, and she even dabbled a little bit in the javelin as well. Matter of fact, she was super excited about the event and wanted to practice it any opportunity and any time that she could get the chance to do so. Madison is highly involved at school and does great things outside of track. That made it very difficult with her schedule to be able to get her into a meet this year. However, I really appreciate her positive demeanor and upbeat attitude. She was always there. She was always willing to step up and help out in any way that she could. If she was hurt or she had anything going on, she was there to help out with timing and anything else that I needed as a coach. I really appreciate that. It makes her a joy to have around and to be a part of the team, and I wish Madison all the luck next year. Senior Emma Gerd. I got it right this time too, didn't I, Emma? I've had a year to practice. Emma is a foreign exchange student from Belgium that has been an important member of our track team. Unfortunately for us, due to MSHA bylaws, Emma was deemed ineligible to compete for our high school. However, she was at every single practice, every single day, and was an integral part of our track team. She was actually there not only during track season, she also was there during cross-country season and all off-season. She never missed. And that's truly impressive for a young individual who actually doesn't even get to compete. And she knew she wasn't going to get to compete, and she still wanted to be there every day. For those of you guys that have had an opportunity to watch her run, she's a good runner. There's no doubt that she was able to if she was able to compete for our team, she would have been a force at the conference meet, district meet, and maybe even the state level. I would say that Emma has probably learned quite a bit from the track team throughout the season, but Emma, we've learned even more from you. She has taught us about her home country, how to be a good teammate to all, and how to simply go about your work each and every day. I know that the kids have really enjoyed their time with Emma, and so have I. I am sure that she is tired of me asking her questions every single day about Belgium, or what she thinks about things. Emma, we all wish you the very best and hope that the future is bright for you. Don't forget about all of your crazy American friends that you have built relationships over the course of the last year. Our other dynamic foreign exchange duo, Anine, I'm going to butcher the last name though, Ramsgell. That's close, right? Anine actually goes by Annie, and so I'm gonna use Annie in this. But she was another foreign exchange student that we had on our track team this year. In the 2 years that I've been, and even the 4 years that I was around before that, I don't remember any foreign exchange students that were part of the track team. And this year we had 2. She came to us all the way from Norway, and unlike Emma, Annie actually was able to compete for us, and actually was a huge part of our track season all year long. Her best event by far was the 400 meters. We found out early in the season that she was actually scheduled to travel back home before the state meet actually took place. However, when we started to see that she might actually have a chance of getting through and qualifying for the meet, she was able to get her flight changed. It was actually quite the ordeal to make that happen, but she ended up getting it changed, and it was a good thing that she did get it changed because she did qualify for the state meet in the 400 meters. I know that the race at the state meet was not exactly what she was hoping for, but all in all, she had a great season. This was the first time that she had ever competed in track and field, and she's a state qualifier. I would say that speaks volumes to her ability level. Annie, just like Emma, we learned so much from you, and I really enjoyed getting the opportunity to coach you this year. And last but not least, Senior Avery Reed. 4 years now have come and gone for Avery, and over the course of those 4 years, she has been able to compete at the state meet in the high jump on 3 occasions. Even though we were never quite able to get the performance we were looking for in Jefferson City, her consistency as a high jumper cannot go unnoticed. It is very difficult as an athlete to be at the top of your game for the final 2 meets of the season to qualify for the state meet in Jefferson City. Avery was not only able to do that just 1 time, just 2 times, she did it all 3 years. And that statistic alone is super remarkable. Then you add in the fact that Avery is just an all-around awesome young lady. She's super active within the high school. She's dedicated to her studies and is just a kind person to all. I know that her presence will surely be missed next year. Underclassmen, I hope that you have taken good notes from Avery because you guys have big shoes to fill. A good leader isn't always the person who is the most vocal. It very well might be the person who goes about their business on a daily basis the right way. Avery always did things at practice the right way. She worked hard, and that hard work over the 4 years has paid off. As you look back on the last 4 years as a high school track athlete, I hope that you can say all the time, sacrifice, and hard work was worth it in the end, Avery. I wish Avery the very best of luck next year at Missouri S&T, and there's no doubt that she's going to go out and do great things. And this is our girls track team for the 2018 season. I'm going to go ahead and hand out our awards really quick. I am going to make an announcement before we forget as well. Athletes, if you guys want your track pictures, stick around right after the banquet, and we've got your track pictures that we will hand out to you guys before you guys leave this evening as well. All right? Let's start with the outstanding relay runner. I had a lot of individuals that ultimately this could go to, but I had to look to somebody I thought that was on both of our 4x4 and 4x8 teams that qualified for the sectional meet. So this year's outstanding relay runner goes to Marissa Fleeg. Our outstanding sprinter and hurdler. This is an individual that was new to track and field this year, however, stepped up for us, had a big season, and even qualified for the state meet in their first experience within the United States. So our outstanding sprinter and hurdler goes to Annie. Our outstanding distance runner, I kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier, an individual that makes over the course of 2 sports, 6 trips to the state meet or qualifies for the state meet 6 different times. Truly impressive. And I think that our Outstanding Distance Runner Award has to go to Sarah Moore. Our Hustle Award. If you come out to the track and you watch these girls lay it out there, and then you watch this girl lay it out there, she does it time and time and time again. And I think all of them would echo. She actually won the award last year, and she's going to win it again this year. Maddie Huffstetter wins our Hustle Award. Most improved. I could talk about the long jump. I could talk about the 100 hurdles. I could talk about the 300 hurdles. I could talk about her 400. I could talk about her in the 4x2. She just was improved across the board. She came in much better shape at the beginning of this season, and she just truly came in and worked her tail off from day one. So our most improved award definitely goes to Julia McClin. Our outstanding field event athlete, and this is one of the 2 plaques that we give. That's going to go to Avery Reed. She was our high jump specialist this year, but even more importantly, she, as you guys can see, she provides so much for our track team, so much leadership, so much in regards to work ethic, and she just truly does things the right way each and every day and influences these young ladies in so many different ways that she probably may or may not even recognize or may not even know, but she just comes in, goes about her business every day, and I really appreciate that, and it's such a big part of our girls' track team. Avery Reed. And finally, our outstanding track athlete. Having a freshman go to the state meet in 3 events, that can't go unnoticed. She makes it in both hurdle events. She makes it in the high jump. She made it through districts in the 4x4. Megan Aubuchon is our outstanding track athlete. Thank you, guys.
Okay, great job, Coach. Great job coaching, not only cross country but track, and you'll definitely be missed. But Coach Hook is going to do a fantastic job. Although she's got big shoes to fill, I think she's ready for that. Really quick, just a couple more thank yous on my end. I want to thank the high school administrative team, Mr. Haney and Dr. Mercer, for helping out, not only helping out with supervision, but also being sort of mentors for me and setting the bar high and setting a good example as far as how administration works at the high school level. So thank you to them for their help throughout the course of the year, and it was certainly no different this spring. I also want to thank Brian Kreider, Dean Gamache, and all the rest of our custodians. when track meets are over and those bleachers are full of popcorn boxes and little balls of aluminum from the aluminum foil from the hot dogs and so forth. They're the ones that go through and clean up and make it look nice for the next track meet. So I want to thank those guys for all their preparation before track meets and after track meets as well. Okay, moving on to boys track. As I mentioned before, Coach Warner is going to do all the talking for the boys program, and when he's done, I'll do a little talking about him. So, Coach Warner, come on up.
I'm going to start by getting these guys up here as quick as I can. Stephen Abishan. Stephen's a sprinter, a hurdler, a high jumper. His specialty is the 100 meters. He ran 11.2 this year, sectional qualifier. Jacob Boyer. Doug. He's a sprinter slash mid-distance guy. Doug, this is for you. 4x2, Doug. His best event might be the banjo. Ty Brown. Ty Brown's a thrower. Best event, both disc and javelin. Big things next year, Ty. Coy Flea. Coy's another thrower. His specialty before this year was the shot, but then he's seen an opportunity. He also became one of our varsity discus throwers this year. Gabe Grimminger. If you've been around boys track, you know Gabe's one of our big dogs. We called him all year. He's a SGHS record holder in the 800 meters. Kobe Hatfield. Kobe's a sprinter and a jumper. He's kind of a long and triple jump specialist. Clayton Hook. Clayton pretty much was pole vaulter this year. He's a distance kid too, but pole vaulting was his main emphasis this year. Brandon Eisman. Brandon's a sprinter, mid-distance kid. He was the anchor in both our 4x8 and our 4x4 relays this year. Jared Kinnick. Jared's a thrower, is absolutely ate up with the javelin. He's got a big future with javelin and you know, down the road. As he grows a little more and gets a little stronger, perfects his technique. Asa Lemons. Asa absolutely loves the 100 meters, and he lowered his time substantially. Asa also, got to say for you, 4x2, Doug. Anthony Nash. Anthony's another one of our distance kids. We put him at the varsity level for the last 2-3 events, and I think he kind of surprised himself in the 1,600 meters. He's got a bright future as a distance. Josh Pelfrey. Josh is a distance kid, and he's got that rare ability of jumping for a distance runner. He's going to be an exceptional high jumper in the future. He's got to get that cast off. Jesse Pinkley. If you're around the track program, you know what tremendous ability that Jesse has got as a vaulter. But this year, you've seen him also display some of those outstanding talents. He was an all-stater in the 300-meter hurdles. Joe Raymond. Joe's another one of our throwers. He's a youngster. He's getting to learn all three of them, shot, disc, and javelin. Camden Sadler. Camden's one of our distance foundation kids. He ran everything from the 800 meters to the 3,200. He was on the all-state 4x8 team. Kagan Schmelsley. Kagan overcame a broken kneecap in wrestling to come back and be part of an all-state 4x8 team at the end of the year. So just tremendous recovery there. He's one of our distance kids. Devin St. Clair. Devin's one of our distance kids. He helped us out at the varsity level towards the end of the year in the 3,200 meters. Bryce Trollinger. Bryce, a sprinter, hurdler, also a jumper. He was getting some pretty good accolades there at long jump. I'm sure Coach Hook's got her eye on him for in the future as being, one of those long jumpers. Challenger also 4x2 dub. Max Upchurch. Max is one of our distance kids. He ran a 3,200 meters several times for us this year, scored some points in our conference meet for us, and he makes fun of me because I'm old all the time. Evan Walker. Evan's one of our sprinters, hurdlers, tremendous success in the 110 hurdles this year. He's really coming to form. He was also part of the 4x2 dub. Jordan Wybrick. Jordan came out for the first time this year as a senior. He's a sprinter, a jumper, and he had some success there at triple jump towards the end of the year. Gage Wiegand. So Gage is a sophomore. He's a sprinter, a jumper, ran at 200 meters and some other relay stuff for us. On behalf of all the guys, I would like to do my thank yous with them up in front of you here, so I'd like to just briefly list. I don't want to do too much repetition. Coach Boyd kind of, stole the thunder, and Coach Nix with a thank you. So here it goes. Sports Boosters, thank you very much for the meal tonight, all that you do to support our teams throughout the year. Parents, again, echo what Coach Boyd was saying. We appreciate all that you do. And I, as a parent of a couple girls who ran here, know what it takes when the athletes get home and what you got to do behind the scenes, so we really appreciate that. Jason Vioxton, the Herald, Jason's a pleasure to work with. It's real simple and nice to communicate with him, and he does a fabulous job in the paper. Mr. Nix and all the administration, Chris Haney and Scott Mercer, it's been a pleasure to coach, coach, teach, just work with you guys. You are tremendously professional, and you just take care of a lot of headaches that I know a lot of other coaches in other school districts have to deal with, but you guys are very nice about that. It's nice to work here. To my fellow coaches, it's been awesome. Coach Boyd and I talk a lot. We spend a lot of time together, and it was just really a unique fit. When we walk out onto that field, I think the athletes will tell you that we're tremendously prepared, or we have this set agenda every day, but it's actually just because we've worked with each other and we work so well with each other. We all know what we're all doing. If you're going to be a long or a triple jumper or a javelin thrower, Coach Hook's got your back. If you're a sprinter or a hurdler or a high jumper, then you're coming to me. If you're any one of the distance kids from 800 on up, Coach Boyd's got you. And if you're going to be a thrower in one of those events, then Coach Thompson's got that. And the kids know that, but more than that, we all know that. So I really appreciate the way we've worked together the last few years. I want to also say a special thank you to our middle school coaches, Keeker, Harlow, and Pope. You guys do a tremendous job there, and we appreciate all that you do to support us at the high school level. And just a very special thank you to anyone who helped at any one of our track meets. As a track coach, it's almost dumbfounding sometimes when we host as many meets as we do. It's kind of like self-torture. But if you're behind the scenes, it's a lot of prep and a lot of things to run off those 18 or 19 events, whatever, and then all the middle school thrown on top of that with there's some changes. So anyone who was asked and you stepped up and helped at one of our meets, I can't tell you how much we appreciate that, because sometimes finding help to do everything is the hardest thing. Mention just a few of those. Nikki Reed's here tonight. Kenny White, Bob Weiler, Logan Reinhardt, Tracy Etherton, and Sierra Boyd. Thank you very much. You make it a lot easier to host those meets. Okay, guys, we're going to play a little game. If you were here before, we've done this before. First thing I want to do, though, is our 300 chant. So let's get that going. Set that down. 1, 2, 3. Ahoo! Okay, so the game is this. If you were, then you got to step forward. If you were a freshman, step forward. All right, you guys are done. Get back. I want to show you just a little bit of our team dynamics so you can just kind of I'm a visual guy, so you can see this here. If you are a sophomore, step forward. Step back. If you're a junior, I should say were a junior. Thank you. And then finally, if you're a senior, or a graduated senior, I should say. So thanks, guys. I show you that just because you see we got a young team. We're going to lose 4 of these young men up here, and they've been a pleasure to work with, but we got a lot of stuff coming back. And I know Coach White's very excited about that next year. If you were a thrower, step forward. Thank you. If you were a sprinter, thank you. And if you were a distance, step forward. And I wanted to do that just because you see not only are we young, but we're very well balanced. We got a nice group of kids across the board in each one of those facets, and that makes coaching this team a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Because some coaches, or in some years, I as a coach, you struggle to fill a certain niche on your team. This team was such a pleasure because it was week in, week out, meet after meet after meet. We were filling everything up, not just putting a warm body in there, but kids who were really training and trying to fill their niche on a track team. So it was a pleasure to do that all the way through the year. And another neat thing, I guess, this year was not only were we filling each and every event, but there was a lot of competition amongst these young men to fight for a spot to get in that varsity lineup. And I think in the end, that led to our overall success. It makes everybody better when you really got to work not only to stay ahead of the competition, but some of your teammates. Okay, everybody, is everybody in a straight line then? Coach Thompson, I want you to really watch this next one. You might actually be the judge. Okay, so if you think you're good looking, step forward. All right, step back. Okay, if you actually are good looking, step forward. All right, back to some more serious ones then. Okay, so if you were part of the team that raced at the MAAA conference to help win the championship, step forward. So these are the guys we talked about having a perfect meet, and that meant not that we have to go out and win every event or set world records to be perfect. It just means that we have to lay it all out there for each and every one of us, and we did have a perfect meet that night. We had finished right in the thick of things all year with Potosi and a couple other teams in there, Park Hills. We'd finished ahead of them in one meet, behind them, tied with them in another, and when we went to conference, we knew it was going to be a real dogfight. And we talked about having a perfect meet, and that just meant that each and every one of us did everything we could to score, that last little dogfight point, and we did that. So they were MAAA conference champions. Give them a hand. All right, step back, guys. If you were a track athlete here that met an all-conference standard, making you all-conference, step forward. It's a lot of fun to coach a team like that. We had a ton of guys. Several of these guys up here are all conference in more than one event, some of them 5 and 6 events. So kudos to that. All right, step back. If you ran at the district meet at Hillsboro, so step forward. So what you do as a track coach is you evaluate everything that you've got. If you ran, jumped, whatever, if you were competing at the district meet, step forward. This is the best lineup that a coach can put together, and I want you all to see that, in that we try and use guys all the way across the board. But this was our team that represented us in the district meet. We were 5th there this year. We've got a very tough district, a lot of all-staters in that district. Okay, step back. If you qualified through the district meet, meaning you were top 4 in a respective event, it means you qualified for sectionals. If you qualify for sectionals, step forward. So what you're going to see is this is how the gamut of track goes. It starts with pretty much using the whole team, putting together the best you can, and they slowly get weeded out. It happens to every team in the state in that it's a competitive level, and you got to keep finishing in the top 4 or you're done. So this was our sectional team this year. All right, step back. If you made it out of sectionals and qualified for the state meet, step forward. So you can see how we get weeded down. So we qualified In a 4x8 relay, we had a hurdler up there. We had an 800-meter runner up there. We had a 300 hurdler up there. So we only qualified in 4 events. Okay, step back. If you finished in the top 8 to become all-state at the state meet, step forward. So a special recognition for these guys. First, Jesse Pinkley. Jesse was 8th in the 300 hurdles. I think he kind of shocked himself at the conference meet, and from there it was like, hey, I'm going to go after this. And he did, and he finished 8th. So give Jesse a hand. Also special recognition for our 4x8 team. I know you guys, you didn't have the race that you wanted to. You had the race you wanted to at sectionals the week before. But you gutted through a lot of stuff there at the state meet. And anytime you get in the top 8 up there with the caliber of competition, it's tremendous. So our 4x8 team of Gabe, Kagan, Brandon, and Camden, they were 8th in the state this year in 4x8. All right, step back. If you set or reset or have set a SGH track and field record, step forward. So what this means, guys, is they get their name on the board in the gym, and it's been a tremendous honor to coach anyone who gets their name up there. And I look at that board and look at some of those times, and it's just like, man, what an honor it is to be around a kid that has the ability to get their name on that board, because there's some outstanding standards up there. So I've been really fortunate here the last couple of years to have been around some athletes that not only had the ability, but the work ethic and the character to go after something and see it achieved. So this year we set 2 new record board, SGHS record boards. What am I trying to say, Nick? Record setters. Is that a word? Okay. I know Jesse had a frustrating season, not a frustrating season, a frustrating district meet in the pole vault. He had giant plans. 2 years ago, I think he topped out at 10.6. Last year, he cleared 14 feet. He set a new school record. So as a coach, I did the math on there. That's roughly a 3'6" improvement. So I was expecting that this year. I mean, I thought he was going to be vaulting like 17.6 or something. But he reset his own record at 14.2. So give Jesse a hand. Then we beat an old record set back in 2005, I believe, and with a 4x8 800-meter relay. Gabe, Kagan, Brandon, and Camden reset that record by 7 seconds. They ran a 7:59.43 at the sectional meet to take first. So 4x8 as a new school record too. Give them a hand. But it's truly an honor to coach you guys. I'm not going to go into some big retirement speech or anything else, but it was an awesome team to end my coaching career with, and I appreciate all your hard work, not just because we got some really cool accolades and stuff this year, but just because it was a lot of fun to coach this group. When I look in the rearview mirror, I heard this expression used at some retirement speeches and some things we did around here with the teaching stuff. Feel really good in that I know the quality of the individuals that are staying to coach, and I know the quality of the individuals that are getting added to the coaching staff. So as I look back, I think a lot of coaches are really, they're a little bit scared of letting everything go into someone else's hands, but I don't feel like that at all. I feel very confident, and you guys are in great hands. You can do great things in the years to come. As for our awards, so we've got 5 medals to give out, very similar to the girls. Outstanding relay runner. He was the anchor of our 4x8, our all-state team. He was also the anchor of our 4x4 team. That was a sectional qualifier. We missed out 1 place there. We took 5th at sectionals. We would have had them at the state meet too. His name is Brandon Eisman. The outstanding distance runner goes to a young man who's going to have his name on the record board twice down there now. He's the SGHS record holder in the 800 meters, and also now with the 4x8 team, Gabe Grimminger. The Outstanding Sprinter Hurdler Award goes to a sophomore. He's got a very bright future. He just missed out on being an all-stater. He had a tremendous year in the 110 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. Evan Walker. Most improved is also going to go to Evan Walker because, again, the 110-meter hurdles it's a men's race. And I'm not saying that Evan's not a man, but he's really young to be running against those guys. And if you ever step up on a track and you, especially me as a short guy, I step up to that hurdle that they got to go in a 39-inch hurdle, and it's like, dude, how do they do that? And he was in here almost every Sunday. We do kind of a weenie thing from noon to whenever they want to leave on Sunday afternoons. And Evan Walker was one of those guys that was here, especially early in the season, on his own time, doing, he would confer with me on what I wanted him to do or what I thought he needed to do, but he was here working. And that's why he ended his year, just really close to being an all-stater. But he was there, and he had a tremendous race. So most improved is Evan Walker. The Hustle Award, that just goes to the kid that, again, what the award says is that they're just busting it everywhere. And I would tell you guys, Coach Thompson and I sit down and discuss, who do we think best fits that award, who's the most deserving. And this was a tough one because we had a lot of guys that could be considered for the Hustle Award. But it's got to go to Doug. Jacob Boyer. Day in, day out, he works his keister off. He whines a little bit yet, but he really works. He's a lot of fun to coach. Okay, we give out 2 plaques. First plaque, Outstanding Field Event Athlete. It's a pretty obvious choice in that we've got a field event athlete up here that's got his name, best ever SGHS, field event, pole vaulter, Jesse Pinkley. And then the Outstanding Track Athlete of the Year goes to Gabe Grimminger. And then lastly, guys, just want to remind you, stick around afterwards. Like Coach Boyd said, we've got your pictures from the season up here, so we'd like to get all we can handed out before we leave here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Gabe, I want you to know. Gabe, I want you to know I also have those pants. Good thing I didn't wear them. That would have been awkward. Boyer, Doug, if you will. I may have given you a pass on the whole good-looking thing, but did you see your face on that banner out there? I mean, it was like, look, oh my gosh. And usually it's not like that. All right, just a few things before we wrap it up for the evening. As I mentioned before, this was Coach Warner's final hurrah as a coach at St. Genevieve. He's been a coach here for a long, long time. He was actually our head wrestling coach for how many years? 20 years as the head wrestling coach. He's also coached, just the past several years, he's been a 3-coach coach of wrestling at the middle school level. Came back for us and filled in a spot where we needed him. Also did cross country at the middle school level. And, of course, track at the high school level. So there's a lot of people who, and take it from somebody who coached 3 sports for 2 years, there's a lot of people who cannot do that, especially at the end of their career. But not only did Coach Warner do it, but he did it with grace, with style, and with ease. Coach Warner is one of a kind. He's one of those people that down the road you just won't have any Chris Warners anymore. He's got tremendous work ethic. He's got tremendous passion. He's a man of faith, and he cares about the kids genuinely. And genuine is a word that I used the other day when Russ Toombs walked around at our faculty meeting and he said, describe Chris Warner in one word. The first word that came to my mind was genuine. And that's how he is every day of his life, as well as being, again, a hard worker every day of his life. And every day you see him, he's got a bounce in his step and a smile on his face, and it's contagious. When I was in college, I was given a lot of bad advice, unfortunately. But one of the good bits of advice that I got that still sticks with me today at the age of 40 is when you get into a career, surround yourself with the people that you respect the most. So 18 years ago, when I started at St. Genevieve, it didn't take me long to pick my few people, and Chris Warner was at the top of that list. Chris Warner has been somebody that I have tried time after time and failed to emulate. But he has no doubt made me a better coach and me a better educator in this career. This year, we had the first ever Coach of the Year award at our retirement banquet. And it was an easy choice this year, and it went to Chris Warner. As I mentioned, he is one of those people that when you get into this career, and I'm not the only one that's done this, you can just see those younger teachers gravitate toward him and try to do some of the things and form some of the relationships with kids that he has over the years. He is by far one of the best people that I've ever gotten to know, especially in this profession. And he's going to be sorely missed by not only the teachers here, but the kids that are here now and the thousands of kids that he's impacted over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Chris Warner.